Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third week of our distant learning. For us to really appreciate the topic on the skeletal system of vertebrates and invertebrates, we have to go back and review the differences between vertebrates and invertebrates. First of all, you find that in terms of skeletal supports, all invertebrates can be classified as having an exoskeleton, while vertebrates do have endoskeleton. Exoskeletons mean skeletons that are external to the body of the organism, while in vertebrates, the skeleton is internal. So this is exo and this is endo. Now, having clarified this point, there are three different types of skeletal supports within the organism. The first one is endoskeleton, bones inside the human body, exoskeleton, skeletal tissue external to the body, and hydrostatic skeleton, in which the water pressure inside the column of a muscular tube is used in propelling the animals forward. So skeletal systems are defined as supportive systems that provide rigidity to the body surface, surface for muscle attachment, and protection for vulnerable body organisms. Two types, or in this case, three types of binding and weight-bearing functions will include. First, let's talk about hydrostatic skeleton. This is an example of hydrostatic skeleton found mostly in coelacanths, like outworm, like tapeworms. In this case here, what happens is that the inner coelomic fluid has an internal hydrostatic skeleton. This fluid within the column uh, provides an alternative contractions of the circular and longitudinal muscle, producing backward movement waves of motion that propels the animal forward. This kind of motions, like we said earlier on, are commonly found in invertebrates, particularly like worms. It is also important to note that the hydrostatic skeleton is different from the muscular hydrostats as found in our tongues. Our tongues don't have any skeletal issues, and in the trunks of elephants, they lack any kind of skeletal support because the movement that they perform is based on a complex pattern. Okay, so hydrostatic skeleton can be viewed as one of those skeletal supports in which the animals are able to create movement. The second type broadly can be classified as the rigid skeleton. Rigid skeletons differ from hydrostatic skeleton because it provides anchor and point of attachment of muscles. The opposing set of actions of the flexor and the extensor muscle will take our hand forward and we'll bring it back. That allows motion to occur in different directions depending on the joint, whether it's the hip joint, which can create about 180 degrees. Our scapular joint of the arm can create 360 degrees of motion. So depending on the joint, whether hinge joint or cleft joint, motions are created based on the two types of muscle, the flexor and the extensor muscle. Rigid skeleton can be classified into two. The exoskeleton, mainly protective and typical of mollusks and arthropods, may take the form of shells or chitinous plates. It's limiting because This type of exoskeleton is limiting because it controls the growth of the animal. For the animal to grow bigger in size, it has to periodically shed this coat of exoskeleton by molting to make way for an enlarged replacement. The next one is endoskeleton. Endoskeleton, which is formed inside of the body of the animals, it's composed of bones and cartilage, commonly found in echinoderms, vertebrates, and cnidaria. Okay, two things we discuss within the endoskeletons are the cartilage and the bones. Cartilage is a major skeletal element. It is soft, pliable, with glassy appearance, composed of chondrocytes, cartilage zones. Blood vessels are absent. That is why any injury on the cartilaginous extensions like the bridge of our nose, it takes difficulty to heal because there's no blood supply. Cartilage could form the whole endoskeleton of an animal like a lamprey's, and also can form partially like in humans as articulating surfaces for many of the bones. The bones, on the other hand, is highly vascular and may develop from cartilage, or it could develop from intramembranous manner when they form from the embryonic cells. In terms of density, bones may be classified as spongy, calcareous bones, or compact bones. Bones not only support and protect, it also the major reservoir for calcium and phosphorus. In amniote vertebrates, red blood cells, platelets, and white blood cells are formed in the bone marrow of the compact bone. Microscopically, this is how the bone looks like here. You can see it is made up of concentric circle. And within this concentric circle of bone, there are rings, uh, cavities. Here you can see the concentric tins of bones, and this is called the lacunae. Within this lacunae, we have the osteocytes, which is the cells of the bone cells, blood supplies, and other innervations that makes the bone a living tissue. In bones, process of remodeling and destruction occurs all the time, involving cells such as osteoblasts or osteoclasts, which respectively causes bone reabsorption and also bone building processes. For our activity for today, your assignments today are based on responding to these two questions in a detailed two-paragraph essay. The first question is, the arthropod exoskeleton is the most complex of all invertebrate integuments. Describe its structure and explain the difference between hydrostatic skeleton and rigid skeleton. The second one is involving the bone. Discuss the role of osteoclasts, osteoblasts, parathyroid hormones, and calcitonin in bone growth. This will be the end of our lectures for the week. Please post your assignment in the Google Classroom as usual. Thank you very much and have a nice week.